So who wouldn't want to know how to rank their business higher on Google? But let's be honest, if I took a trip to California and went out to the complex of Google, and then I had 10 minutes with the CEO of Google to ask him questions about the Google algorithm and how I can increase my small little business to get better traction with local rankings, what's he going to say? Will he give me 10 minutes with him to give me an understanding of what's needed to make sure that I do the right things for the algorithm? He's probably just going to burst out laughing if I can get before him in the first place. But fortunately, we don't have to go down that avenue because Whitespark is an excellent report that comes out every couple of years in recent times. And what it does, it takes all the experts, gets them all together that understand and have studied SEO, particularly on a local search ranking basis. And they then reveal what they have found from their experiments and what information they can then share with you. So in today's video, I'm going to take that Whitespark report, I'm going to break it down, make it so that it's easy to understand, and also make it so that if you've got a business, you can apply what we learn to your business today. I'll then use this report to show you what's changed since 2021 and what's going to help you in 2022, what Google's rewarding now and what Google isn't rewarding that it did used to in the past. And ultimately, you'll know what you need to do to rank in Google local ranking results. And if you've got any questions, then put them down below in the comments, because this is an opportunity for you to then ask your questions. And what question would you ask Google themselves if you had an opportunity? And also, while you're there, put down what is it that you think is the most important factor for local ranking results. Now, if you're new to local ranking, or if you've been at it for some time, these changes we're going to look at are going to give you a huge advantage over the competition, because this is very current, this is up to date, this has just been released yesterday, but also help you to see that there's more involved than just Google business profiles. And as we go through these factors, I'll also put some links to other videos that you can then go to after you've watched this video. So watch this video to the end and then check out some of the other videos that will give you a bit more detail about some of the things we look at today. So ultimately, don't forget, if you've got a good, honest, hard-working business that gets great reviews from genuine customers, that gets great citations throughout the web, that's been around for some time, that is considered that you're the expert, that it considers you to be trustworthy, then actually Google's also trying to get you to the top. But unfortunately, people do tend to rig things, they try and change things, they change the titles, they change the names, they change the categories, and they do things to try and ultimately get ahead of the competition without the work. And so ultimately, Google will continue to change the algorithm so that the genuine customers get to the top. But you do also have to optimize it and play ball with Google. So is it all about citations? Is it all about reviews? Is it all about NAP? Is it all about domain authority? Well, actually, it's not all about one thing. It is a combination of things. In fact, the study goes to show there was 132 factors to take into account, but we've narrowed it down and put it into sections so it's a lot easier for you to understand. So here you can see the report, and basically what you notice is every few years, then the experts have got together and they've reversed engineered in effect what Google's been doing. So by analysing enough businesses, you can understand what Google's ranking factors are. But if you notice here, we go back to 2013, so 8 years now we've been studying what Google's been doing. And as you can see, each year things change, the priorities change. And so what may have been considered important in the past is now considered perhaps half the importance today. So knowing what's current, what's been ranked highly in 2021 is going to give you the ultimate start for 2022. So what's been the most noticeable difference in the report that's just been released? Well, it's basically all about Google My Business, or Google Business Profile as it's now called. Google is giving even more authority to having that optimized correctly. In fact, we see 36% of the local ranking is based on that alone. But the study also showed that these areas included the primary category as a really important part. So making sure you've got the right category is probably one of the most important parts of Google Business Profile. Also keywords. We know that keywords in the title has been an important factor. Another thing when it comes to Google Business or Google Business Profile is the fact that it's the proximity of your address to the searcher. So that's something you can't really rig. The fact is though, of course, if you've got a lot of searches, if you're in a town centre or city centre, that will help. The physical address in the city itself, so making sure that you're not ranking for a city nearby, but you're actually in the city. That makes a difference to Google My Business signals. And also your additional Google My Business categories. So as we can see here, it's just a few basic things really that you can't do much about. You can make sure you've got the right category, but you can't do much about your business title unless you want to go down the spammy area of doing that. And you can't do much about where you are, where your office is based, and where the proximity of the searcher is. But that makes sense really, because people searching for local business will want someone local to them. So there's a fine balance there between giving it a lot of authority and giving it 36% authority. Now the second area we're going to look at is reviews. And again, this has been increasing in authority. So as much as people think to themselves they need to get 5-star reviews, actually there's a bit more to it than just that. When it comes to reviews, what you need to bear in mind is this. Reviews are becoming more and more reliable as Google starts to filter it through and understand what reviews are considered an authority. But Google has just changed their wording regarding reviews. In fact, if we look at their support reference here, it mentions that Google values all reviews, not just positive reviews. So value all reviews. Now that's a change. Reviews in the past were always considered perhaps a bit more important based on their score. But Google's seeing that actually if you're trustworthy, it's unlikely you're going to get 5 stars from every single person. So they're looking actually more to build trust with people that get honest reviews. So valued reviews are ones where when things go wrong, you get the 1 star. So that's interesting, isn't it? To think there's a bit of a change there in the way in which Google now views reviews. But as always, it's not just about Google My Business reviews, it's about third-party reviews. So looking at the external sites that give you reviews like Facebook, like Yelp, Checkertrade, Yellow Pages. If you go to those areas, they also give reviews. Google has an idea of what it is that they're suggesting, and that is taken into account too. But then it's not just about the reviews themselves and the ratings, but it's also about the quantity of reviews and the review velocity and the review diversity. So everything to do with reviews, the amount of reviews, the score, the amount you get in, the areas they come from, all these factors are taken into account. They then serve 17% of the ranking factor. So you can really never get enough reviews and you need them coming in on a regular basis. Now, if you want to know more about reviews, then there's a video here for you. Now, the next factor is the on-page factor. So these are things that you can optimize and do something about. So it'd be things like your NAP. So making sure your name, address, and phone number are consistent. That's often been said in the past. I have a video here that will show you how to do that. But just bearing in mind, it's not as important factor as it used to be. So what do we look at on a percentage basis for this? Well, it's currently 16%, but you notice it used to be more like 20%, and it came down for a while to about 15, 14%, and it's now gone up to about 16% in 2021. And it's the fact that because you can control the on-page factor to some degree, Google doesn't want to give it too much authority. But on the other hand, there are some things there that do build trust, like the consistency of the NAP. And on top of that, the keywords themselves in the title. So if someone's looking for a plumber and they are known as a certain plumber in that area, Google does still rank that highly. So it struggles with knowing how much authority to give the title, but that's one part of the on-page ranking factor. And Google continues to give domain authority part of that factor too. Now the fourth factor is that of links. 13% is given authority to links. So what do we mean by links? Well, these are links that are coming from external sources. So when people have anchor text and they link through to your business, it'll be down to the anchor text links, it'll be down to the linking of the domain authority. So that person who has the link, what's their domain authority, and the quantity of links as well. So depending on the amount of quantity as well. So that makes up about 13% of the factor. So if you want to know how to boost your domain authority, then I put together a video here. So meet me over there in a moment. Now the sixth area is citations. And a few years ago, we used to say the importance of citations, but it's obvious that that's lost its importance in the last few years. So what are citations? Well, this is all about your data, but in various locations. So indexes like Yellow Pages might have you listed, but again, how you're listed, the information that's listed about you, and the fact that you're in a certain area, that in itself will add to the authority that you're given by Google in the rankings. As we mentioned, the consistency of your NAP as well, your name, address and phone number is part of it. And also the citations volume. So again, if there's a lot of citations to your site, that is also given part of that 7%. But as you notice, it has gone down as an authority in Google algorithm. In fact, you could say it's at least half, if not 2/3 lost its importance over the past 8 years. And finally, there's something that's been given less and less importance over the last 8 years, and that's personalization. What's personalization? Well, people, when they log into Google, when they log into the internet, when they log into their browsers, their phones, their tablets, there's a certain amount through cookies of personalization. You can tell Google which things you like, what stuff you're interested in. Google knows the types of information you're interested in too. And so there's just a small percentage allowed, 4% as it is, for personalization. So your search history might be considered, and of course your search location itself. And just knowing what people generally are searching for in that area, Google takes that into account too. So as you can see, there's quite a few factors that are taken into account for local search ranking. But the biggest factor by far, 36%, was your Google business profile. And most people still don't really understand how to optimize it and how to get that full 36% coming through. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a 30-day challenge that looks at all the various things that Google Business Profile includes. So if you want to know how to take that challenge, it's absolutely free. Just visit the playlist here and follow each one of those videos. I'll see you there.